Happening now, a fundraiser is underway to help support the victims of a fatal fire in Freuzeberg. Officials in Jamestown are cracking down on gun violence and helping relieve the EMS crisis by investing more into our police and fire departments, plus celebrating local athletes with the Special Olympics.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Our latest local news is coming up, but first let's get a check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by with that, and turning out to be yet another beautiful day in the weather department, Dakota.
Yes, it is, Justin. It is just another looker of a day out there. So, if you liked yesterday's weather, you're going to love it today. The Randolph Peaches and Cream Skycam. Now, we do have some high clouds. These are high cirrus level clouds. So, again, these high clouds mean that no precipitation is going to fall out of them. And you can see them here on the satellite composite. Notice how thin they are and how they really don't show up too well. Again, just thin level, high level clouds. That's pretty much it for the afternoon. Otherwise, just lots of sunshine. Again, pollen still an issue. It's that tree pollen that's still an issue up there running high. And again, we are getting into a dry stretch. So no rain means the pollen's not going to be washed away. 72 was the high yesterday, started the day at 50, 85 and 26 are the records. So through the afternoon, rinse and repeat, more sunshine. Again, high clouds will the high clouds will continue filtering in, 65 to 77. It turns warmer for the middle of the week, and more of this is on the way. The Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast will be coming up later on in the show, Justin.
All right, we'll see you back in just a bit, Dakota. Thank you. A fundraiser is underway to help the victims of a fatal fire in Freuzeberg. Several fire departments responded to the blaze at a multi-unit apartment house at 83 West Main Street on Monday morning. A deceased victim was later located by crews checking for hot spots throughout the home. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office fire investigation team is still working to identify what started the blaze, which not only claimed a life, but also left several homeless. Even though the other occupants of the home are receiving assistance from the American Red Cross, the community is coming together to help raise money. A GoFundMe page was posted yesterday afternoon, seeking donations to help those who lost all of their possessions, only walking away with the clothes on their back. Now, as of Tuesday morning, the fire's victim has not been identified by officials. A link to that GoFundMe fundraiser is posted now at our website, WNYNewsNow.com. And officials in Jamestown are pledging new investments to help improve public safety, which includes additional hires for both the police and fire departments. Our Bronson Rasmussen with more.
Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist joined other municipal leaders Monday night announcing the new effort.
Tonight, I'm proud to announce investments into our public safety departments totaling millions of dollars. The Public Safety Committee, President Dulce and myself have found common ground on the need to invest in our police and fire to make Jamestown safer.
Money from the American Rescue Plan Act will be invested to hire 3 new police officers with a focus on gun violence prevention and quality of life issues. Gun violence is a nationwide problem, and as Mayor Sundquist says, Jamestown is not immune.
The city saw 19 shooting incidents last year, and there are already 7 this year. Unfortunately, we've lost 3 people and have had 7 injuries as a result of these shootings. The police have seized, held, or recovered 90 guns last year, which more than doubled in 2020. This year, 25 guns have been seized, held, or recovered.
The city also has a dire need for EMS workers. This crisis is why officials plan to employ 4 new firefighters. They will also deploy a second ambulance within the department.
Over the past decade or so, we have seen our fire department run more and more EMS calls. To date, the fire department has run nearly 11% more calls and nearly 30% more EMS transports than they did this same time last year. This is in addition to running 1,000% more calls than they ran a decade ago.
Any new personnel for both fire and police departments will have to be trained, a process that officials say could take months to complete. Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. The cost for the new hirees and ambulance purchase is not finalized just yet and will be presented to the City Council at their May 16th work session. A 36-year-old woman is facing several charges after allegedly attacking a man while he was sleeping in his bed. New York State Police responded to a Gary residence last week for a reported domestic dispute. Following an investigation, it's alleged that Alicia Main entered a bedroom and attacked the victim who was in his bed at the time. Main, troopers report, struck, kneed, and pushed and bit the victim several times. They also allegedly removed their glasses from his face and intentionally broke them. She allegedly fled the scene prior to the troopers' arrival, but was located soon afterwards at a nearby residence and placed under arrest. Main was later charged with criminal mischief and harassment. And a 30-year-old man is accused of trashing a Falconer residence during a violent dispute over this past weekend. New York State Police responded to the crime Sunday. It's alleged that during an argument, Braden Niles pulled the victim off the couch and onto the floor. He then, troopers report, began trashing that house as the victim ran outside. While calling 911, Niles allegedly took the phone away from them and smashing it on the ground before fleeing the scene. Now, after initial attempts to locate Niles were unsuccessful, a warrant was issued from the town of Poland court. He was eventually located and placed under arrest, charged with criminal mischief and harassment. As WNY News Now continues this half hour, more to tell you about, including the push to help Board of Election offices here in New York who are gearing up to host not one but two primaries this summer. And later we check in with a local farmer as the growing season gets underway in our region. Stay with us. WNY News Now will be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer with a day of fun activities for children in the Jamestown area, hosted by Collaborative Children's Solutions and the City of Jamestown. The first part of the day happens at Northwest Arena, where both kids and parents alike can learn about activities available to you. Later in the evening, finish out the night at the Tarp Skunk baseball game, along with a fireworks show at Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. Stop on down on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our two great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Chautauqua County is in dire need of child care providers, and we need your help. The Chautauqua Child Care Council is hosting several special webinars to help you enter the child care industry. Setting up a child care program is easier than you think. It could start in your home, caring for a few children, or grow into a large operation at a daycare center. If financials are a challenge, no worries. The New York State Office of Children and Family Services is offering a grant opportunity to help you get started.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
A push for additional state funding to help hold a second primary election this summer in New York is underway, with a second election slated for August as newly drawn district maps are drafted. As our Julia Gress reports, Board of Election officials across New York are now calling for additional funding to help cover the new election day.
Last month, the state's Court of Appeals ruled the newly drawn election district maps were unconstitutionally gerrymandered by Democrat lawmakers. Since then, the justice has appointed a special master to redraw the district lines for state, Senate, and congressional races and set an August 23rd primary date.
Back in 2014, a referendum was passed that said that an independent redistricting commission is going to decide, based on criteria that is presented by the census, on how legislative districts are going to be drawn. They paid no mind to that.
Assemblyman John Selka, along with other Republican leaders, including Senator James Tedisco and county election commissioners, are voicing their concern about what 2 elections will cost taxpayers.
It's not only another singular election day in August where we're going to have to bring the voters out, but we're going to have to bring the workers out, we're going to have to bring the volunteers out, but it's also what I would call, in terms of elections and voting, the mother of all unfunded mandates. It's a $25 million bill estimate across the state of New York.
The senator continued that this second election will have the same 10 days of early voting as the June election, and that he expects voter and worker fatigue. These legislators have called for a consolidated primary in August instead of having one in both months. To combat the cost for municipalities to run a second election, a group of senators and assembly members are pushing the New York State Gerrymander Failure Assistance Act to ensure that state, not local money, goes towards the cost of the election.
Directly addresses funding and manpower concerns for our local boards of elections. I find it highly disingenuous of New York State to place more demands on our local boards of elections without the critical funding in place to fulfill New York State's demands.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. State leaders say the already scheduled June 28th primary for governor, lieutenant governor, state assembly, and county and local offices will take place as scheduled. The CEO of New Era Cap Company is accused of trying to hit someone with his vehicle outside of a North Buffalo restaurant. Christopher Koch was arrested in arraigned in Buffalo City Court on 1 count of reckless endangerment in the first degree, a Class D felony. Investigators say Koch, who is 61 and a male victim, were involved in an argument on Saturday in the parking lot of a Buffalo restaurant. They say when the victim got out of his vehicle and approached Koch's vehicle, he allegedly engaged in conduct that created a grave risk of death to another person by intentionally driving towards the victim, according to a statement from the Erie County District Attorney. The victim was able to jump out of the way to avoid being hit, but did suffer an injury to his hand. Officials say Koch allegedly then hit the vehicle, causing damage to a passenger side door. According to the Erie County District Attorney's Office, the victim is believed to be the ex-husband of Koch's current girlfriend. Koch is scheduled to return to court on Wednesday, May 25th for a felony hearing. The defendant was released on his own recognizances. A temporary no-contact order has since been issued. Well, Monday in Harrisburg, the 27th annual Fraternal Order of Police Memorial Service took place. This memorial was held at the State Museum of Pennsylvania, with members of law enforcement, families, and local elected officials in attendance. The event had been canceled for the previous 2 years because of the pandemic. 35 members of law enforcement who gave the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty were honored there, 2 of which served right here in our region. Members of the Erie Police Department were at the memorial and say the annual event sends a very strong message.
The message that it sends is that we assure the families, the friends, the co-workers of those officers that paid the ultimate sacrifice that we'll never forget them.
In total, Pennsylvania has lost 1,086 members of law enforcement in the state. Well, 2 weeks ago, local farmers feared that cold weather could hurt their crops, but after several days of warm temperatures, did their crops survive? Erie's News Now's Elspeth Meisner checked in with local farms to see how their crops are doing.
Just a few weeks ago, apples were just starting to bud, but flash forward to Monday, and now they're in full bloom.
We are able to look at the flowers, make sure all the internal fruiting parts are okay, and I'm very, very happy to say that at this point, it looks like there's going to be a bumper crop of apples come fall.
After the past few years of cold temperatures and frost, seeing these blooms are a sigh of relief for Tim Birch, owner of Birch Farms.
Very thrilled to death that we've made it through the cold snap we had a couple weeks ago, and right now the forecast for this week and the next week is looking very good. No real cold temperatures.
While Birch says the frost and cold weather didn't affect his apple crop, the jury's still out over at Westgate Farms, where the owner says there's still a few more weeks left in May and there's still a chance that frost could affect their cherry crops here.
We can have a killing frost all the way up until maybe May 26th. But I've been lucky so far this year.
Dave Wagner, who has been farming for decades, says that right now, when he sees his cherry crops, it's very promising.
They've been in blossom for about a week, and we're getting to the tail end, and all these white petals will drop off eventually, and you'll be able to see the little cherry probably in a week.
While both Birch and Wagner are happy with the blooms, it's now time to start pollinating.
The longer the flowers are outgrowing, the better chance we have of the insects getting them pollinated.
Elspeth Meisner, Erie News Now.
Looking like spring there, Elspeth. Thank you. Coming up, a federal manhunt ends for an escaped inmate and the officer who allegedly helped break him out. And later, the latest push here in New York to protect abortion rights. But first, when we come back, it's a full look at our weather forecast. Stay right there.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer with a day of fun activities for children in the Jamestown area. Hosted by Collaborative Children's Solutions and the City of Jamestown. The first part of the day happens at the Northwest Arena as we ring in summer vacation with a party featuring snacks, music, and more. In addition, several groups will be on hand speaking with both kids and parents about the plethora of activities available to keep our youth occupied. Then later in the evening, finish out the home run day with a night of fun at the Tarp Skunk baseball game, along with a fireworks show at Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. As a PE teacher, I know the importance of keeping kids busy this summer, so stop on down on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer. You can learn more online at ccsolutions716.com and watch for updates on the Collaborative Children's Solutions Facebook page.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Well, welcome back, and we talk about it all the time. Don't plan anything you want to keep until around Memorial Day. That's right around the time frame when our last freeze is usually before Memorial Day. Now, I wanted to show you First Defense Doppler radar, and I only wanted to show you this for one reason. There's nothing going on today, but notice all this stuff here that's just kind of sitting here doing this. Well, you know, we mention this sometimes when we show the radar. This is not rain. This is actually the Arkwright wind farm that it's actually interfering with the Buffalo Doppler radar. So just to kind of break it down a little bit, here's what happens. So here's our wind farm here. Here's our Doppler radar right here. So when the radar beam gets sent out, it doesn't go in a perfect straight line, but you can imagine it goes in a straight line. The base elevation for the Buffalo radar is 0.3 degrees. degrees. So as the radar beam gets sent out, notice how the blades of the wind turbines are hitting the radar beam. So that ultimately is the reason why we see that on radar. It has to do with the distance from the wind farms to the Doppler radar site and how high the beam is at this particular location. So that is why you see that on radar. It's just the wind farm. It's been there for quite a number of years, and it will continue to be there. So the HD News Now cam showing you just a few of those high clouds moving on in. Paris 6s as a noon hour with a south wind of 7. The wind is light, so it's feeling just fantastic out there. So again, the same thing I mentioned at the top of the show. If you liked yesterday, you are going to love today. Now, this is the Noaa QPF, or the rain forecast over the next 3 days. Look at this, nothing. No rain, nothing across our area. The most amount of rain will be further to our west and south over the Atlantic Ocean. So the fishies will be getting a nice bath across the Atlantic Ocean over the next couple of days. High pressure still in control. Notice how there's not really a cloud in the sky here. And high pressure is really going to remain in control for the next several days. Wanted to swing you down to the coast of Africa because we have our first tropical wave off of here. The good news is the National Hurricane Center has noted this morning this started weakening, but it's a sign that hurricane season is right around the corner. Hurricane season starts on June 1st. So let's take you through a future scan here. Really nothing, just lots of clouds, or not really clouds. These are high level clouds. So we'll just be mostly sunshine with that milky white sky with the high level clouds. We'll clear out once again tonight. Mainly clear starlit skies. Temperatures dropping back around 40 in the deepest valleys to the lower 50s right around the Lake Erie shoreline. Tomorrow, more gobs and gobs of sun and maybe some high level clouds once again. 71 at 2 o'clock with the sun smiling down on you. By the time we go to 5 o'clock, 73. And by sunset time, how do you love this beautiful sunset across the city? 67. Now the next 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Maybe. Let's try it again. There it is. And you'll see here Paris 7s tomorrow. The sun continues all the way through Friday. We should warm up into at least the lower 80s by Friday. We bring in a chance for a few rain showers Saturday, maybe a couple storms Sunday. But then we go from summer right back into spring, Justin. We'll be back down to where we should be by next Monday in the upper 60s.
Yeah, loving the sun. Just soaking it up, Dakota. Thank you. After a massive nationwide manhunt, authorities in Indiana have captured an Alabama fugitive, and the correction officers, they say, helped him escape. Officials say Casey White and Officer Vicky White, who are not related, were arrested after their vehicle crashed during a chase. Later Monday, Indiana officials say Vicky White died from her injuries, which appear to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, according to County Sheriff Rick Singleton. No law enforcement officials fired any shots at that scene. Singleton saying the crash happened after the pair was located at a hotel following a tip from the public. He added that Casey White will be brought back to Alabama for arraignment. The arrests bring to a close a nationwide manhunt that lasted more than a week after Vicky White took him from custody later in last month. Well, Andy Warhol's iconic Marilyn Monroe portraits were some of the most important works of the 1960s pop art movement, and a recent auction just proved it. One of the pieces just sold for a jaw-dropping $195 million, becoming the most expensive 20th century artwork to ever go up for auction. The 40-square-inch shot sage blue Marilyn was one of dozens of images Warhol made of Monroe in the 60s. The record-breaking sale happened at Christie's in New York on Monday. The auction house had initially said it was expecting bids in the region of around $200 million. Warhol's colorful reproductions of Monroe's photo portrait came from a publicity still from her 1953 movie, Niagara. Well, following a leaked Supreme Court draft decision in which it would strike down Roe v. Wade, a ruling that has legalized abortion access across the U.S., states are now bracing for how that might impact them. Here in New York, they're looking at legislation they say will help increase access to abortion care. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
If Roe v. Wade is overturned, about 26 states are expected to immediately ban abortion. Today, New York's Attorney General Letitia James and state lawmakers announced new legislation they say will support abortion providers and abortion care.
We'll create a dedicated state program that will give financial resources to abortion providers in our state. Again, give financial resources to abortion providers in our state.
It's called the Reproductive Freedom and Equity Program.
This fund will direct money, $50 million, to the Department of Health
in order to offer grants to abortion providers and nonprofits that assist people in accessing the abortion care that they need.
According to the CDC, in 2019, about 7,000 of abortions performed in New York were from people who were coming in from out of state. And if Roe is tossed, they believe that number could climb substantially.
According to the Guttmacher Institute, that number could grow to more than 32,000 individuals, or perhaps even more. And that's just for people traveling to New York from Ohio and Pennsylvania, where they have restrictive laws and in some cases lack of access to abortion providers.
They say this funding could help support abortion providers with the influx of people coming to New York. It would also fund for uncompensated abortion care regardless of a patient's ability to pay for care or their insurance status. And this program would also award grant funds to nonprofits that provide support to people that travel to New York.
The Supreme Court will not take New Yorkers, and anyone who enters our borders seeking refuge, comfort, and empathy back to the Stone Ages with tortured opinions that put women's lives at risk.
In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Next here, we go inside of Falconer Central School's Special Olympics as educators highlight the accomplishments of their students. Stay with us.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Visit the Northwest Arena on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer. Learn about activities available to youth in the Jamestown area, plus end the night with fireworks at the Tarp Skunks game. Learn more online at ccsolutions716.com.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Falconer Central School hosted their second annual Special Olympics on Monday, showcasing their students' athletic abilities and recognizing the progress they've made so far this school year. Our Alyssa Wright was on hand for the competition.
In the wake of the global pandemic, county level Special Olympics has been shut down for the last 2 years. So the first year we did a parade to each one of our students' homes, and then last year we had our first annual Special Olympics here for just our students, and then this year we continued it because it went over so well.
A parade of athletes kicked off the day with a police escort and the Falconer Falcon mascot leading the way. Before competition began, Falconer's own Mackenzie Smith performed the national anthem.
Today we've done a running races, a softball throw, and a long jump, and then we finished up with relay races and bike races.
Organizers say that the Special Olympics is not only an excellent way for students to exercise and release some energy, it also acknowledges their accomplishments.
I think it's important because our students work so hard throughout the school year, and it's important to take time and to celebrate their accomplishments.
The event ended with an award ceremony where each student was congratulated on specific academic achievements and milestones that they've made throughout this year, and then were awarded a gold trophy with their name displayed on it. A picnic then rounded out the day where athletes and their families relaxed and enjoyed some refreshments. Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
All right, Alyssa, thank you very much. And boy, they certainly had a great day for it as well. Wonderful to see the smiling faces. And I think one of the big things that I love, Dakota, is how everybody's able to come back together once again for something like that. So really is special. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNY News Now and on Channel 716 on Roku. We'll leave you with this live look over Lakeside Park. Have a great day.